our first launch with this huge ass client was a total disaster. It was a failure. And you can even call it dog shit. Here you can see a screenshot on the screen. This was the lowest month, $1,100. And yes, we started off making $3,500. Then it went to making 2.7K the next month. Apologize for my fucking writing. And then it was now sitting at $1,500 a month. Now the second launch made $21,000 in pre-sales, meaning before we even announced it publicly. Here you can see some screenshot on the screen of the payments coming in, as well as a DM message from my partner telling us what we were able to generate for this huge ass client who we initially fucked up for. And now I'm not gonna lie, the first launch had us fucking tweaking. We were stressed. We spent hours, over a month, if that actually, recording course content. The client was drained. We were drained of waiting for the results that we were actually hoping to achieve from this low ticket community. And when we finally launched it, over here, what did we see? We saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. So what was the thing that allowed us to change our process and allowed us to generate $21,000? Now, by the end of this video, you're going to understand the steps we took, how we changed going from a low ticket to selling a high ticket community. And if you're somebody that's even thinking about going into the info industry, or you are in the info industry and you're struggling the same way our client struggled here, you're going to understand everything by the end of this video. And we were not going to be able to make this change until we came to a realization that we fucked up, which is the hardest thing you can do. Is because after months of anticipation, as well as seeing somebody else in the space ripping a low ticket offer of $100 a month, making $100,000 in MRR consecutively from a low ticket, and us anticipating that result, or even bigger of that matter, because of what sort of audience our client had. And when we launched and saw the fucking failure that we got, we felt like shit. It hurt everything. And yeah, I mean, we're all human, we make mistakes, but the whole important thing here is to understand what you did wrong, iterate, and don't do that again. So, what was our main mistakes? And what were we actually working with? So as you can see, 150,000 subscribers, 80,000 followers. If we add that up, that's 250K followers. So a 200,000 audience of people, yet the low ticket is currently making $1,500 a month because we're not just promoting it. In fact, we completely stopped caring about it because it does not matter. Our audience was 16 to 20-year-old kids. So a broke Gen Z audience. And we were able to still retarget and reposition our offer to the point where not only were we able to attract a better ICP, in fact, the best ICP that we could with this audience, but even take those broke Gen Z kids and convert them into the high ticket buyers that they're now sitting at in the mentorship. Our first mistake was running this low ticket community. It was $30 to $50 a month. We started at 30 and then we raised the prices, thinking that something would magically change. But it wasn't a price problem. Price did not matter. It was just the fact that it was low ticket. See, the difference with low ticket communities now is, first of all, we are in a trust recession. People are understanding that information is everywhere, and so they're losing trust with every single guru that there is online. On top of that, there are so many scammers that are getting exposed every single fucking day for their course. So people are just losing trust and confidence in the people that they're watching and following. Not to mention the high churn rates. Meaning that people just would not stay in the community. The retention was not there. People were leaving. People were asking for refunds. And you may have the best course ever, highest quality, highest production, yet these buyers, these low ticket buyers, are still going to be the worst people to deal with because of the high churn and the refunds and their, most importantly, their commitment to the program. Because what do they expect? They expect a result instantly. And that is just not what you want your ICP to be. The way the info industry is going right now, and that's what you have to understand if you're somebody that wants to sell info in 2026 and the years going forward, is that low ticket is ridiculous. There is no point to waste your time, months, or even years on building some shit out, which in the end is going to have the lowest ROI for the amount of time that you put into it, right? And that's where our second mistake came into place. We spent over a month recording, perfecting the course modules. And by the end of it, as I explained previously, we were just fucking drained. The client was drained. We could not wait anymore. We were spending over a month recording when we could have already started generating money within the first week. But we completely neglected that. And that was totally our fault. And our third mistake, it was just unsustainable. We had weekly calls, constant updates, regular content, which not only did we have to actually think about, but the client had to go out and record. Now imagine how much time that is for you as an info seller to be able to fulfill all of this. When the dream that you're being sold about the info industry is that it's easy money for a low time commitment. You're going to get disgusted when you find out that this is what you have to go through, especially when starting out with a low ticket community. It is just so not worth it that it's absurd. And the results of that matter showed $3,500 the first month, 2.7K the second, 1.1 being the lowest month, and the current average sitting at $1,500. Right? Now, you do not have to make our mistakes. That's why I'm recording this video, and that's why by the end of it, you're going to understand everything that we were able to do for you to avoid them. And if you want to skip that entire process, you can actually go ahead and book a call. I left the link down in the description for your personalized expertise arbitrage plan, so you can understand what it actually is, and you can get your own roadmap. But back to the video, what is important to show you guys is the steps that we took to be able to convert from that disgusting $1,000 a month to making $21,000 before we even publicly launched an offer. Now, step one is validating your offer. Now, with this specific client, it was a bit different. He never sold consultation before, and he was not confident that he could deliver. because he's never done it before. Yet his skill of video editing was through the roof. Best in the industry. So what we ended up doing was launching a public challenge. And before you even ask, the public challenge was him starting a fresh account, which meant that nobody had access to that account. Nobody knew that it was him, in fact. And the challenge was landing a client not in 1 week, but in 2 weeks. But as you can see, he landed it in 1 week. And what did that show? That showed instant proof, authority, positioning, which made it better than any case study. Because our client, this video editor, took it upon himself to go out, set this challenge. People were actually finding out that it's him from that challenge because of who he is. And they were shocked. And they just saw him as the leader of the industry. So he did not need no case studies. Which means that you don't need any case studies. Because if you have proven expertise and you're confident that you're able to deliver, not only for yourself, but for other people by showing them the transformation that you're able to do and documenting it every single step of the way. That's another thing we did. Document. Then there's no reason for people not to trust you. Right? Now, what was our second step? See, and this applies to any fucking niche. The niche really does not matter. We had a unique angle of clients coming to our client, to the video editor. Everybody talks about simple freelancing terms, DMing somebody, the best cold DM strategies, all of these things that people are selling you in whatever niche it may be. And now, wouldn't it just be more powerful for the clients to actually come to you and beg you to buy? That's what ended up happening to our client. In fact, he was charging already a super high ticket amount. I'm talking between $5,000 to $10,000 for his video editing. And people would DM him asking and ready to buy, literally giving their credit card to buy from him for his skills. Now that's what his ICP wants. They don't want to first learn how to edit and then go out and learn how to DM people and then struggle for ages. The whole point is to position yourself and establish yourself as somebody that's reputable, as somebody that has authority, as somebody that has proof and knowledge and skill in your niche. And not just as some random second, third, fourth person that you're seeing when you're scrolling. Because then you're going to be just stagnant. Then you're going to fall into complacency. Now, step 3 was simplifying the product. For this high-ticket mentorship, we still did have a course. But instead of spending over a month trying to perfect it, we got it done in 1 week. And this 10-hour course had around 6 hours of modules, and then 2 hours of some calls, which still showed value, but not only value, it showed our client talking to students, talking to clients, and showing proof. So the course was there, even though it actually isn't the main selling point. But simplifying it was what made the whole entire process so much easier, saved so much time and energy so that we could focus on everything else. And step 4 was the one-on-one access. See, the people already saw our client as a celebrity, right? He would never really answer DMs, so no DMs. When people would DM him, he just would not reply. And he never sold mentorships or consultations, which people started wanting, right? That's the main value. And that's where the info industry is heading in 2026, as I explained, and where it's going to continue heading for the next coming years. People want access to you. They want personalized guidance. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be spamming you 24/7 on end. You're going to see notifications from your clients be asking for help and all of that sort of stuff. Because they're paying you such a high ticket amount that they're already convicted. They have this conviction that you're going to deliver the result, but you are establishing an authority to the matter that they actually have to put in the work. And they will put in the work because they put that money. They invested into themselves and into you. Into you as somebody that's selling this mentorship. And in our case, it was a $3,000 mentorship. So they're putting $3,000, which means that it's basically undeniable that they're going to get themselves a result because they're going to put in the work. And if they don't, that's on them. That's not on you. And for step 5, it was a simple funnel. Now, before, when we actually launched the low ticket product, we had a VSL funnel, which, again, spent a shit ton of time on. And transitioning and repositioning this entire funnel and offer, we went with a simple application link, which we had in every single YouTube video as well as the Instagram bio. That allowed people to simply watch a YouTube video and just press the link and apply. And everybody that wants to do it, they will do it. They don't need some sales manipulation that you want to actually do to make them buy. Your ICP will want to buy from you regardless, by either messaging you or by seeing the form and applying. Right? And that's what allowed us to go from $1,100 to $21,000 in pre-sales, which again means before we even publicly announced the offer. Now, it goes without saying that team is number one. So another mistake that info coaches make is they see somebody selling a course and they believe that they're going to be able to do this for themselves. They see so many videos of people giving out value and information and implementation, actually, on how to start selling their own course, mentorship, consulting, whatever it may be. And when they try, they realize that there's so much more to get into it in terms of the back-end systems and the team and the management and the hiring, that they end up failing, either because they're spending too much time learning everything, or they try jump through roads, which means that they're missing steps for the operation, and their ship comes crumbling down. So what did we have? We had a skill closer that handled all the calls, which is like 40% of your success, if not more. Right? If you have a closer that's on your team that understands your offer, understands your marketing and your positioning of who you are and who our client was, they're going to be able to jump on these calls. And frankly, a lot of the times, a lot of the calls will not even require a selling tactic. But you still want to have a skilled closer. Because if you're just having some random person behind the screen, because at the end of the day, you are probably not going to want to manage so many calls being taken, especially at the level of our client with, like we mentioned before, 250,000 of an audience. You want to have a guy that relates, that resonates with the personality of who you are, who our client is. So that when you as a lead or your ICP jumps on the call, they don't see a random motherfucker who's talking to you, and then they just instantly get disgusted and they don't even want to buy because they see some random person on the other side of the screen and they're like, who the fuck is this? Right? We had aggressive follow-ups and no lead was being ignored. Now, what do I mean by aggressive follow-ups? I'm not talking about aggressive selling here. Aggressive selling is something that's completely different and something that you do not want to do. If you have to aggressively sell, that just means that your marketing isn't good enough. That means people are not bought into you. So you have to use objection handling in your sales calls to the fucking maximum. You haven't done a good enough job marketing, which means that you have to reposition your content. Aggressive follow-ups means that when a client messages you, applies a form, you are with them instantly. Now that's a completely different thing, and that's what you have to think about and what people choose to ignore. Normally people would say, oh yeah, let me just wait like 2 hours and then I'll get back to him because it'll show that I don't have the time. And while yes, that may be true, you do not want to do that because you're allowing the prospect time to think, which means time to change a decision. And even thinking that they're being ignored. They don't want that. And when you are messaging them back instantly, whether that be your appointment setter or you yourself, they're like, holy shit. Okay, let's do this. Let me buy from you right now. Now, what were we also able to do? And that's going back to the previous point, which I mentioned over here. These broke Gen Z kids, we were able to capitalize on them. We pitched members from the failed low ticket product, and it was the easiest close. Why was that the easiest close, and why was a low ticket actually beneficial for us? Was because those people were already bought in somehow. They just needed that extra boost, that extra shift in mindset that allowed them to understand that they can go from one place to the next. And they were actually the ICP, but they just needed to actually understand more of who the client is, consume more content, get more bought in because of his expertise and knowledge. And they were the easiest closes. Some calls that we have were 30 minutes or had 30 minutes or less. And that led to a $3,000 PIF. Painful. And that was it. Again, here are the fucking screenshots. So what were the lessons that allowed us to actually make sure that we were able to get $21,000 in pre-sales for the second launch from everything that we've done in the low ticket, everywhere that we fucked up, and everything that we're going to be doing moving forward, and what you have to remember and take action on as well. What you have to remember is low ticket is harder to sell, especially if you have no validity within high ticket and where the industry is going to be headed. Like I explained, you're going to get the lowest ROI for the most amount of time wasted, or you're going to end up spending a shit ton of money to actually promote this low ticket, whether that be through ads, through content, through your positioning, through your systems, because there's so much that goes into the backend systems like emails, SMS, etc., your team. And you might see how much your low ticket generates if it generates a substantial good amount. But when you compare the numbers of what you invested and the time you invested, you realize that you fucked up and you could have made so much more money by selling high ticket. The next lesson was validation is better than any case study. If you, as an expert, are able to go out, prove your expertise by either documenting it or selling it straight away without even having a personal brand, because you do not need it, and I have other videos breaking that down, then that's going to be better than any fucking case study. Because then you're actually able to get those case studies, and then you're able to build your marketing around it. Which is exactly what we started doing. Making sure that our content positions our clients as that authority, attracts our ICP, because We understand who our ICP is through their pain points, through their limiting beliefs, through their objections, through their goals, through their desires. That is what effective marketing is going to be. Because it's going to work hand in hand with the sales. And that's what I talk about all the fucking time. If your marketing and sales are not working hand in hand, they're going to work against each other, and you're either going to get a shit ton of views and no money, or no money and no marketing in general. It's going to fuck up your entire process, and you do not need that. And that's why I wrote down marketing is better than any product perfection. If you're understanding who you're talking to, who wants to buy from you, people that resonate with you, people that like you, people that are attracted to you, you're not even going to want to sell them. You're not going to need to, sell them. They're going to jump on the call and be like, yo, I know you charge a good amount. How much do you charge? They're going to buy because they have so much conviction in you and what you have done, and that they literally need your guidance to help them get to that next step and help them achieve the result. And finally is the fact that high ticket leads to better clients. You're not going to deal with the annoying people screaming in your ear, you didn't have a call this week, you didn't post a new module this week, let me get a refund, fuck you, you're a scammer. That's what those low ticket clients are going to be. The high ticket clients, as I explained before, they have money invested, which means that they're put in a position where they literally need to work and need to actually learn what they need to do with your help, with your guidance. Otherwise, their money just went to waste. And if it does go to waste, that's on them. You do not need to give them guarantees or promise them something. The promise comes from what you were able to do. That's the promise. They see what you were able to do, and they already establish in their head, oh, yo, that's what I can do. But that's, again, it goes back to the marketing. There's people, and you might even think about that yourself when you see people talking online, that you need to have a guarantee. Guarantees, it's no different than you selling a fucking low ticket offer. Stop giving people guarantees, because that's just you saying, my offer is shit, and I might refund you. And most of the time, people never refund them because they have some retarded clauses in their contracts or in their terms of service or whatever. It's ridiculous. So if you're an expert and not a scammer that's watching this video, and you have proven expertise and you're able to deliver a result and you're able to document a transformation story, and you've done something cool for yourself, it can be anything. I'm not saying you have to be a trader or a dropshipper or a TikTok shop affiliate. You can be anything. You can have any skill. And if you've done something cool, if you've generated some money, if you've generated some results for somebody, it doesn't even have to be money related. What you're now able to do is book a call with me, and my business partner will map out your exact expertise arbitrage plan, give you a blueprint, show you exactly, step by step, how you're able to sell your expertise and why you should sell your expertise, and how you can do it literally this week. Start selling it this week, build your content marketing around that, and stop building for 6 months, for fuck's sake. Stop building your personal brand for another year and then not make any money because you never understood who you were talking to in your content, and what you just ended up being is an entertainment machine for the people that are watching you. And then you launch something and you pray that you're going to make $5,000, and you probably end up making zero. So learn from our mistakes. Don't generate $1,000. And start generating multiple 5 to 6 figures every single month from your expertise. And give people real results that they're able to take, and you're able to be fulfilled based on the help and guidance that you're able to give to people that you truly resonate and truly fuck with. And yeah, that's been it for this one. If you guys did enjoy this breakdown of how we were able to take our client from practically making $0 every single month to $21,000 in pre-sales, then subscribe, leave a comment, like, message me on Instagram. It's gonna be down in the bio. And yeah, like I said, if you have expertise, book a call, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.